SVG domination, Austin Hill stirring trouble again, and a broadcast that just could not get out of its way. Here's what went down at the Glen. Well, hi folks, welcome back to Racin-n-Braisin. I am CJ, a lifelong NASCAR fan, chef, and your guide to a perfect mix of speed and flavor. On the menu for today's episode, we're going to talk about Austin Hill's latest run in the fall in Victory Lane and subsequent absence of Connor Zilisch, SVG's dominating day and history-making day yet again, key playoff shakeups and who's in trouble, and we'll round things off with a highlight of today's menu that included some specially twice-breaded wings. So let's get right on into it. Well, before we dive into what the Cup Series had to provide for us, let's circle back to what happened Saturday. Austin Hill, back with a vengeance, for sure. I guess a week off didn't teach him anything, and he was right back to his aggressive nature, causing a 12-car pileup, just one of two incidences that involved contact with Austin Hill. You would have thought that he would have tried to tone things down a little bit for his return from suspension for aggressive driving, but apparently that's not his MO, and he just stuck with his normal bull in a china shop style and just put his nose where it wasn't supposed to be on Michael McDowell and caused a 12-car pileup that involves some pretty major collisions. A lot of damage going on in that one. Caused an hour-long red flag. I guess props to him for sticking to his guns and driving no different than he normally does, but because of that, you would argue there's a reason he's still in the Xfinity Series after 30 years old. So, yeah. And then Saturday wrapped up with a great win by Connor Zilisch. Unfortunately, a not so great fall in Victory Lane as he was getting out of the car to celebrate. He slipped, fell real hard, ended up with a broken collarbone. He was knocked unconscious there. CW did a masterful job of cutting away from the coverage as that occurred. He was rushed over to the infield care center and then transported to a local hospital before being released late Saturday night. His dad was reporting on X his condition throughout the whole process. Scary fall. And understandably, with the broken collarbone, the number 87 was withdrawn by Trackhouse Racing before the race. So Zilisch did not race today. He was actually going to be my pick for the day because I knew in the regular season competition between myself and Mom that she was going to pick SVG, and she sure did. So Zilisch was at the track today and did give an interview during the race saying that he's in good spirits and has kind of a bug up his butt to get back in the car as quickly as possible. A bit of a competition against SVG in returning to the car. SVG mentioned something about a plate in his leg and was racing the next day. So we'll see Zilisch back soon enough, no doubt about that, and he'll be sure to be dominating again very quickly. All right, well, let's dive into the Watkins Glen race. Really not much to review here. This was a pure road course race dominated by a pure road course racer. SVG was just playing with the field all day. Early on in the race, we saw Ryan Blaney, the pole sitter, jump out to an early lead and was able to hold off SVG with a roughly 1 second lead, but we heard through the radio communications that SVG was just saving his rear tires. And you could get the sense all day long that SVG was just sizing up the rest of the field to see what they would have so that he knew what he was going to be contending with at the end of the race. The other major thing there is that the Trackhouse number 88 team stuck to their guns, did not bend to anybody else's strategies. They stuck to their own strategy, and it was executed perfectly. And on top of that, we had a pretty natural road course race. There were a couple of incidences, only one that actually brought out a natural caution for cause, and that was debris as a result of a Josh Berry spin and contact. Kyle Larson had a brake issue early on in the day that ended his opportunity for a good day, but they still finished the race so they could get as many points for the regular season on the day. What we saw throughout the day was a ton of different pit strategies, and it was all so that teams could find a way to get an edge over SVG on the day. Just, playing the long game best that they could, and it never really developed for anybody. In the end, SVG dominated, just absolutely put on another clinic. He won by 11.1 seconds at the end there. He was running away with about a half a second per lap at the end and led the final 46 laps, I believe, to take that victory. So that is his fourth win of the season and fourth consecutive road course win this year. And that makes it his fifth road course win overall in his short Cup Series career so far. Kudos to that guy and that team. They were absolutely flawless today. And now with this win, it puts him at 21 playoff points, which means he's got a pretty good buffer for the first round and could absolutely become a contender for round 2, which includes the Roval. So now that SVG has captured his fourth win of the season, let's take a look at how things shake out with the playoffs. Not a ton of movement, but we are seeing a little bit of difference in the point spread. Chris Buescher has gained quite a bit on Ryan Preece on the bubble, now 34 points to the good instead of 23. And I think really the big contention here is really going to be between Buescher and Bowman. That could potentially be the cutoff line, and everybody else down there needs a win in order to advance. We still have Daytona on the list, which is going to be that wild card for a possible first-time winner of the season, and that'll be the shakeup for sure. Another movement there was Busch has overtaken Gibbs on the playoff bubble there, as you can see. Gibbs imploded today. I don't know what happened to him. He was having some sort of temper tantrum, hissy fit, something like that on the radio. They were trying to highlight it during the race. I don't know exactly what his problem was, but the car just absolutely fell off the face of the earth. And he lost so many positions, finishing really poorly. Other disappointments on the day included Michael McDowell, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch. Bowman also had a rough finish on the day. We were expecting a whole lot more out of those four. After the race, Christopher Bell, the second place finisher on the day, admitted that he struggled really on restarts and had nothing for SVG. And that was the theme of the day in the post-race interviews for sure. Nobody really had anything for SVG. They were just racing for second yet again. William Byron had run long on the final stint, and in his post-race interviews said he was driving a drift car there in the final 10 laps, just absolutely on the slickest of slick tires there at the end. Several of the drivers, Blaney and Wallace in particular, I noticed looked extremely worn out and exhausted in their post-race interviews. So it looked like a grueling day in the car. It was on the warmer side for Watkins Glen in the 80s, but I'm sure much, much warmer and more demanding, no doubt, inside the car all day. So now that the racing is finished in upstate New York, let's give that Cup race a thumbs up or thumbs down. Alright guys, well, I'm going to give the race a thumbs up. It was a pure road course race. There wasn't much manufactured drama through the race. All of the drama and compelling aspects of the race came through the strategy. Obviously, we only had one natural caution. All the rest were just stage break related. The diverse strategies kept things compelling, but we also saw just another purely dominant and pure race out of SVG today. It's a pleasure to see that man racing, and glad to hear that he now has a contract extension and will be continuing on in NASCAR for a couple of years to come, which is great news. Now, the broadcast itself is getting a thumbs down from me. I don't know if it's specifically related to how I'm viewing the broadcast. I use Fubo as my TV subscription service to catch these races. Of course, I'm getting the same set of commercials every time it goes to commercials, but also by using the Fubo app, I also think I'm getting gypped of side-by-side commercial breaks, because every now and then it will show on the screen that there was a side-by-side. Maybe there's a glitch in the commercial overlay or some, I don't know how that works, but nonetheless, I'm not getting the side-by-side racing during commercial breaks. I'm getting full screen commercials, and boy, that's frustrating. Plus, they're not being timed out very well. So the broadcast was coming back from a commercial, like in one instance in particular, they were already taking the green flag and were well past the restart zone. I think that was the start of stage 2 when that happened, and that caught me by surprise and was really disappointing for sure. The production itself, I thought was fine. They captured as much action as they could. It's a road course, you know, you got to hunt for it, and there wasn't a lot of action going on at all today. There were definitely comers and goers, but those were mostly handling issues. If cars were handling okay for what this car handles, there really wasn't that much movement. It was really if somebody just, you know, was losing the handle on the car, or if they had it, you know, dialed in right, that they were able to move forward. So yeah, good race overall in my opinion. I'm still just struggling with the broadcast here. I guess we're just absolutely spoiled after the Amazon stuff earlier this year. So for this week's race, if you guys caught Thursday's preview edition, I put it out to you guys to make the choice on what would be on the menu for that day. I said I wanted to do some wings, certainly wasn't going to pass that up, and I did do wings, but you guys didn't give me any ideas. So got my brain clicking, and I hearkened back to my days back in Baltimore at a tavern that I worked at for several years with one of my best friends. And we had a secret menu that we called Chow Box. And on that menu had a twice breaded sauceless buffalo wing. And it was one of my favorites to make and to eat. So that's what I did. So I put together the Chow Box today, and we'll roll through here how things went together. It was pretty simple. I started off with frying the wings first so I could get a nice crispy exterior on them before I went ahead and breaded them. And what I did is just for the breading, I used hot sauce and egg as my liquid portion of it, and then just used a seasoned flour. Put all sorts of stuff in there. Think of a kitchen sink style of seasoning, all your basic stuff. Onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, you know, chili powder, paprika, all the stuff that seems appropriate for that, and heavily seasoned it. And then I did it as a twice battering. So after I allowed the wings to completely cool, roughly 10 minutes or so after I got them fried up, I then dipped them in the hot sauce, put it in the flour, went back to the hot sauce, went back to the flour, and then I went back into the fryer for a few more minutes to get the breading nice and crispy and golden, and allowed them to rest for a couple of minutes. I paired them up with my special homemade blue cheese dressing that you can find on my how-to video, and I'll put the link here for you guys up top and down below as well, so you can learn how to make restaurant quality wings at home and that special blue cheese dressing that I absolutely love. So that's going to put a wrap on our weekend at the Glen. SVG puts on another clinic. We had a pretty compelling race for the most part, aside from a couple of broadcast difficulties. And we saw a whole lot of drama throughout the weekend for sure. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you guys thought this was a good race or not. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up or thumbs down and tell me as to what you guys thought about it as well. Be sure to hit the like button if you like what I'm doing around here, and subscribe so you don't miss another episode of Racin-n-Braisin. Next up, Thursday, we will preview the weekend ahead from Richmond. Until then, guys, stay happy.